So if you're here with me and you're watching this, this is mostly just me testing, trying to record myself knitting. It's proving to be an interesting challenge because I can't really look at the screen and knit at the same time. I really have to look at the actual knitting. So I hope I'm not holding the thing too high. What I'm knitting right now is just this interesting little cable pattern. It's actually got kind of a lot going on. It's awfully hard to see on that. Let me see. Can't. And then bring this closer. The camera is between my legs right now, if you can't tell. It looks quite lacy, but it really isn't. It's cables. If I zoom in more. But, so. So it's size 0 needles. And it's in very, very thin yarn. It's very, very nice. It's, I don't know, it had some cute name like those yarns do. Like Lacy Lamb or something. Yeah. Something cute. Knitters and their alliterations and their puns. Camera has autofocus in a way that I'm not appreciating right now. But I won't fight with it too much. So, here is the big exciting thing that I'm going to do, is I'm going to cable without using a cable needle, which is infinitely more nerve-wracking on a small scale. I did it! I did it! See, you totally can't see it all. I've passed 2 stitches over each other. This is not a tutorial in any way, this is just me dicking around with this right now. The lighting is bad and I'm holding the camera between my knees, and this is not a sustainable setup by any means. But it's also 2 in the morning, so some things are forgivable. I hate it when that happens. Nope. There it goes. Did it! Purlin, purlin, purlin. Okay. Now I'm gonna do it again. So I'm shoving the needles. Nope. This is not gonna serve as a tutorial of any kind, as I said. Camera between my legs. Out of focus. Awesome. Just how I like it. Stab those 2. Stabbed. I'll do this on a much larger scale for an actual tutorial someday with good lighting and a tripod. Oh no. Stitch came out. Oh, and it's a shame. That is a bad thing that just happened. Alright, so I fixed the thing. I fixed the thing in the previous row that was a problem, and I made it no longer a problem. Now I'm on the wrong side. I'm just knitting the knits and purling the purls, except where there's garter stitch, in which case I'm knitting the purls. That's just at the edges, so don't worry about that too hard. I find it necessary. It's not just a compulsion, I find it necessary to knit. I mean, well, of course I find it compulsory to knit, but to sing or hum or whatever while knitting, because otherwise I get incredibly bored. And I feel like, me being all anthropologist now, and I'll expand upon these ideas at another time when all of my mental faculties are available, that women, or well, you know, whoever was doing the fibery things back in the day, you know, would start to sing and stuff, because it just gets really dull otherwise. Like, I really like to, my main thing is knitting and listening to Pandora, and I'll just sing along with Pandora, and that will be what I do for like an afternoon. And it's fantastic, and I love it, and it totally makes me really happy. So that's a nice thing that I do. But, because if you're just sitting there and your hands are busy, it's kind of nice to have your mouth be busy too. But, like, you know, if you're just in a group and people are talking all the time, you're like, oh my god, you guys shut up. But if you guys, like, you know, start singing or whatever, that's, like, a fun time. And I like that. So that's my little anthropology humming segue, which I don't think was altogether too unsuccessful. And I have now successfully, without doing anything weird, stupid, or wrong, completed a wrong side row of this little whatever this is. This is something that I will likely pull out and dismantle in favor of something else. But until then, it exists. Which is a really interesting and weird thing to think about with the knitting, because it's like, you got this thing, and this is undeniably a thing. However, if I were to dismantle it, you know, hey, why don't I go ahead and do that? I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I cross my legs so that I gotta do the thing. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the needle. I'm just gonna destroy it. Straight up destruction of this previously existing entity will no longer exist. However, the components that created it and comprised it will still exist. There's nothing. Ain't nothing there no more. Just yarn. Just nothing. There's no tangible, fixed little coalition of stitches creating a fabric. It's just the one string. That little piece of knitting no longer exists. But, like, the yarn is there. It's like, what? Oh my gosh, what? Object permanence, what? Maybe it's not object, maybe there's, like, a more legit actual name for that sort of thing. But it's so curious and interesting, because I've got oodles of these things. Oodles. All that. This thing. And then these are all potential things. These are things that aren't even yarn yet. That someday could then become... I don't have any yarn on hand. Wait, no. Yarn. And then from fluff to yarn to octopus. You can do all that. But then you can also do it in reverse. You can take your octopus, and you can revert it. First back to yarn, and then back to fluff, and respin it, do it all over again an infinite number of times. I mean, you'll have a certain amount of loss of material through the process of, like, unknitting the octopus and then fluffing it out. You'll have, like, material that's no longer useful. Because it'll be too snarled. Like, the quality will go down the more it is reused. However, theoretically, if you take good care of it, it can be used more or less infinitely, which is pretty baffling. There was a big campaign during World War II for, like, I forget, what little rhyme they used, but it was like, unpick your knits or whatever to, like, make socks last longer. Like, if your kid outgrew some socks, unpick them and reknit them into something else, or, like, use part of it to get you the rest of the way there for something else. So, this has been applied and done and things. It's just really interesting and marvelous. It's something that I really enjoy and appreciate about knitting and spinning and all that, because it's just so destructible, but reconstructible at the same time. There's really no waste, and that's really cool.